Today I'll be talking about Quidditch and student athlete realities in the wizarding world by me, Nico Espinoza. So, what I'll be mainly focusing on in this lecture is how the intricate world of Quidditch mirrors the experiences of student athletes. I'm also going to dive deeper into the like a little analysis of how Quidditch is more than a magical game and comparisons to like age restrictions and also the mascots in Quidditch and how compared to real life how we have different types of mascots and the culture behind the sport. So Quidditch is more than a magical game. So J.K. Rowling writes in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, quote, Harry was speeding towards the ground when the crowd saw him clap his hands to his mouth, as though he was going to be sick. He hit the field on all fours, coughed, and something gold fell into his hand. So this quote in particular was kind of, I don't know, it kind of like really shows the atmosphere and the adrenaline pumping type nature of Quidditch. I feel like after reading this quote, I really got like it emphasized the physical toll it took and like it takes on players. I feel like this is a reminder that Quidditch isn't just like a game that is supposed to be seen as fun, but it's also like a physically demanding sport, which pushes a lot of the players like basically to their limits. Um, but yeah, I feel like this needs to be like more emphasized because I feel like a lot of people just read through this or watch the movies and go through it and don't really take the full entire picture. Okay, so comparisons with real life student athletes. So in Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince, Oliver Wood emphasizes the dedication required for Quidditch. He starts off by saying, "We're going to be at the top once more. Don't you worry about that. As long as we are, the team needs you." So this quote really like stood out to me as an athlete. This really shows like the commitment and teamwork involved in being like a Quidditch player, not only in the books but also in real life. Um so yeah, similarly like real life students, they find themselves balancing and demanding their sports with a lot of responsibilities. This also goes along with academics. Um and I feel like through that the book kind of emphasizes the universal theme of like dedication and what the sport means to a player and like the sacrifices players make to be able to play sports in like a collegiate level. Yeah. So age restrictions. So I when reading the books and watching the movies, I was very not confused but kind of surprised at like the I don't know, there's like a unique age dynamic portrayed. For example, in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, there the Quidditch World Cup is presented, where teams from many different age groups compete. Um, there was this quote that Dumbledore stated. He said, "The International Confederation of Wizards has had to impose rules on the traceability of all magical sports events for the greater good of the magical community." So this regulation kind of like introduced a dynamic where students of like varying ages had to collaborate on the same team, and that was like a new type of perspective because I've never really seen that in like real life, like for athletes nowadays, or I think it's always been like that. They've always competed within their age group, which would make it fair compared to like 11-year-olds competing with like 18-year-olds and stuff. So I feel like that was like a very fresh, I don't know, perspective on like teamwork and trying to see how different age groups work with other age groups. A lot of mentorship was also like seen. I guess a lot of people had to like if you were playing with like different age groups, some people would have to step up and take the reins and be able to, lead. And I don't know, there's like a whole different perspective on mentorship and leadership. This isn't seen that much in real world sports because there isn't much of like age differences. So it's more like within yourself and as like a team type of basis. Like you guys decide who is going to be the person that takes the reins, who is the leader. So yeah, it's like a new dynamic that isn't really seen that much in real sports. All right. Mascots. So the magical mascots versus the real like mascots that we have. So in the book Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, we like encounter like a Quidditch team mascot that is like real. I don't know, like in the sport, the mascots are actually the mascot, like the animals or the magical like beings is the actual mascot. Where in real life sports, we don't actually have like a bear running around the field or an eagle flying around. Oh, sometimes we have an eagle, but like we usually don't have the actual animal portrayed as the mascot, where in the books it's the actual animal. Um this just raised like a lot of questions about like the relationship between the magical creatures, and it like gave me like this unique aspect of like sports culture in the wizarding world. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the representation probably means a lot more, and the significance is a lot more like to the teams that the mascots represent. I feel like through the books and in like this wizarding world, it like means more to the players when they represent the mascot compared to, for example, like if we had a real life slug that we since we are the slugs, if we had like a real life slug that we actually like knew and like had like a relationship with or something, I feel like it'd mean a lot more. I don't know, there was like a completely new perspective to like the culture in sports, and I thought that was pretty intriguing. Um yeah, overall, I feel like I feel like there was a lot of insight that was sparked. Um the age of like yeah, no, that's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got. Cutting it. I'm cutting it.